Well, I'm happy to say here on Beyond the Boundary for Women's Cricket Zone, we have a very special guest today in Georgia Wareham who, boy, did you have a cracker of a match against New Zealand. 3 for 17. After not playing in the right at the start of the tournament, you must have been pretty happy to come out and make such a huge contribution.
Yeah, it was sort of good to just get the win in the end and end up being in the semi-finals. But I guess coming in after not playing too many of the games in the round match was quite good, and I guess obviously to make an impact was even better.
Now, one of the big things today is that everyone's been either looking up in the sky or checking the weather apps. Is that something you've been doing? How does it feel knowing that it could be out of your hands?
Yeah, well, I think it's exactly that. We can't do anything about it. Yeah, it's not in our control. I think the only things that we can control is how we prepare and I guess doing the best we can in that sense. And yeah, I guess the weather will be what the weather does, so I guess, yeah, just not worrying about that too much.
Would you like to see a reserve day sort of come in for this sort of situation?
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I think having it for the final, it doesn't really make sense to not have it for the semi as well. But yeah, I mean, I can't really say too much on that.
Well, we can take up the argument for you, that's for sure. The other big talking point as well was the terrible sight of Elise Perry limping off, and now she won't take any further part in this tournament, out for quite some time. What kind of effect did that have on the rest of the team? Was it a real blow? Was there a lot of emotion in the dressing room afterwards?
Yeah, I think so. I think Pez is such a big player and a big personality within the group. Obviously, she has so much experience in World Cups especially. But yeah, look, she was a massive loss, but I think the squad that we've got, I think we've got someone that can step in as well. Obviously, you can't replace someone like Pez, but yeah, I think we've got a pretty good squad to, I guess, come in and not replace her, but do well as well.
Now, a lot of people probably would have expected before this tournament that the pitches perhaps would have been a bit more conducive to pace, but it's you guys as spinners who have played such a big role. Are you happy about that?
Yeah, I'm happy that as a spinner. A few of the other quicks probably not saying so in the team, but yeah, it's been a bit different to what we've expected, I guess, in recent times in Australia, especially, I guess, places like the Wacker. We hadn't seen a wicket like there for a while, but yeah, I guess as a spinner, I'm kind of loving it.
You and a few others, I think, there as well. You took a couple of really big wickets in that match against New Zealand, particularly with Sophie Devine and Susie Bates really threatening Katie Martin as well. All right-handers. How do you sort of split your bowling when it comes from bowling traditional leg break and the wrong? And have you been working on when and where to swap those and how you bowl the googly?
Yeah, I think I didn't really have to bowl too many wrong-uns to the right-handers for New Zealand because I guess luckily they're all right-handers, so I guess a bit more threat taking away from the bat, but I guess we have a bit of a luxury in the team having so many left-handers, so I get to practice quite a lot. But yeah, I guess haven't had to come up against too many lefters in any games so far, but yeah, I guess I get plenty of practice in training within our group.
Who is it who's been the biggest influence on you and your bowling in developing your skills?
It's probably Shelley Nishki, really. She's massive behind the scenes for me, and I think yeah, she puts a lot of hard work in, I guess, making sure that I'm clear in what I'm doing, and yeah, I guess with the technical side of things as well, she's all over that as well, which really helps.
Yeah, she's certainly a big name and for you guys to have in there. And can you give us an idea of just what it's been like to be involved with this campaign? So much made early on about the pressure that Australia was under, but then also all the buzz around it. How have you been aware of it, and how have you coped with it?
Yeah, I think it's been amazing. I think it's pretty cool to be able to play a home World Cup, and obviously that comes with, I guess, the perceived pressure from everyone around in Australia and I guess the media as well, but I think we've taken it on board, and I think it's been really cool. We've had the opportunity to play in front of family and friends and I guess Australian fans as well, so I guess I think we've taken that on, but at the same time I think there has been that little bit of pressure, but I think the group has dealt with it quite well, I guess, especially coming off that first loss to India, and I think yeah, I think it just shows how resilient we are as a group and to be able to fight back, and I guess now being in the semis, which is pretty special. You
talk about that first loss to India. Poonam Yadav has been a standout in this tournament. Is she someone you admire, or you sort of bowl quite differently to her?
Yeah, I think in general we bowl very different. I think I guess the pace is quite different, and I think she's probably used to bowling on some pretty different wickets over in India, but yeah, she's been really successful against us, But at the same time, I think our spinners have been quite successful against India as well. But yeah, she was phenomenal against us in that first game. But yeah, hopefully, I mean, good luck to her, but hopefully she can't do it to us again.
Well, that's right. You've got South Africa up first. What do you see as their big threat as far as you going bowling to them? They've obviously got some big hitters there and some players like Lizelle Lee and Laura Woolvart who've been in terrific form.
Yeah, I think Lizelle Lee is the type of player that can take the game away from you at any point. I think, she comes out with a bit of a licence and just goes from the start, and I guess having her, Woolvart as well, she's been really good this tournament, but I think someone like Chloe Tryon can come in and change the game straight away with I guess, not many balls. But on the other hand, I think their bowlers, they got two of the world-class fast bowlers at the top of their opening partnership. I think in Chabi, Ismail and Marizon Cap, I think they're a bit of a force up the top, but I think we match up quite well against them.
And just how much is the pressure on the rest of the bowling attack, I guess, to step up now without Elise in that as frontline part of that bowling attack? Have you talked about what you need to do and the fact that you do have to step up? Because she's won Australia World Cups before basically bowling on one leg.
Yeah, I think you can't replace, like I said before, you can't replace Pez, but I think the depth in our squad is really going to come through. I think our spinners have done quite well. I think Jess Jonason's been phenomenal throughout this World Cup. But in saying that, I think Nick Carey bowled really well in the last game, and same with Megan Shute as well. So I think we've got plenty of depth in the squad, and I think we'll go quite well in not replacing Pez, but I guess having someone step in there for her.
Now, you mentioned the home support. Just so to give people an idea, you're from Mortlake in Victoria, and proud Victoria. We don't say hashtag Vics do it better because it's the worst hashtag in Australian cricket. But to give us an idea of what sort of place Mortlake is.
Mortlake's a very small country town, I guess southwest Victoria. Lots of sporting nuts in Mortlake. Pretty big cricket community, and I guess pretty big AFL community as well. But look, they're really supportive of me, and I think I'm sure they'll be watching over the next few games.
I think you said there's only about 2,000 people. Do you know everybody in Mortlake?
I wouldn't say I know everyone, but I know quite a few people in there.
Have you been getting lots of messages from people back at home?
Yeah, I've had heaps of support from my family and friends back home, which has been awesome. And I guess that's just the luxury of me playing a home World Cup.
Yeah, well, it certainly is a huge game. Fingers crossed that we can get a minimum of 10 overs per side in, and all the best to you in going out there and playing in a World Cup semi-final.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
You're always welcome.